In the beginning there was God, and from the dust of the ground he formed a masterpiece, breathing his own life into clay, and man became a living soul. This was Adam, waking to a world painted in hues of impossible beauty. He found himself in Eden, a garden where light danced through leaves, and harmony was the very air he breathed. Animals walked beside him without fear, and he walked with God in the cool of the day, his heart knowing only peace. But even in paradise a solitude lingered. God saw it and said, "It is not good that the man should be alone." So as Adam slept, God took a rib from his side, not from his head to be ruled by her, nor from his feet to be trampled upon, but from his side, close to his heart. From this he fashioned woman. When Adam awoke and saw her, a recognition bloomed in his soul. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," he whispered. He called her Eve, for she was the mother of all living. Together they were one, innocent and unashamed, their love a reflection of the divine love that created them. Their days were a symphony of joy and discovery, walking hand in hand through Eden, but a shadow began to stretch in the perfect light. A voice smooth as silk and sharp as a thorn coiled around the branches of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The serpent, more cunning than any beast, spoke to Eve. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" His words planted a seed of doubt. Eve, pure and curious, tried to stand firm. "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden," she replied, "but God did say you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die." The serpent hissed a laugh. "You will not certainly die, for God knows that when you eat from it your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." The words hung in the air, a tantalizing promise. Eve looked at the fruit. It was beautiful, and the serpent's logic seemed so reasonable. She longed to understand, to know more. In that moment of weakness, she reached out, plucked the fruit, and took a bite. She turned to Adam, her eyes wide with a new, strange knowledge. He saw the change in her, the innocence beginning to fray. And in an act born not of rebellion, but of a heart-breaking desire not to be separated from her, he took the fruit from her hand and ate. In that instant, silence fell upon Eden. The vibrant colors seemed to fade, the music of the garden muted. A chill they had never known crept over their skin. They looked at each other, and for the first time they saw their nakedness. A profound sense of shame washed over them, and they scrambled to cover themselves with fig leaves, hiding not just their bodies, but their broken innocence from the world and from each other. Then a familiar sound drifted through the trees, the sound of God walking in the garden. But this time it did not bring comfort. It brought fear. Adam and Eve hid themselves among the trees, their hearts pounding. A voice filled not with thunderous anger, but with the sorrow of a wounded father, called out, "Where are you?" It was a question that echoed in the depths of their souls. They had lost their place, not just in the garden, but in the seamless fellowship they once knew. They stepped out from the shadows, their excuses fumbling and weak. The blame shifted from one to another, a tangled web of fear and regret. The consequences were laid bare, sorrow, toil, and a world that would now resist them. The ground that had so freely given its fruit would now yield thorns and thistles. The harmony was broken. With heavy hearts, God clothed them in garments of skin, a tender act of provision even in judgment. He then sent them out of the Garden of Eden, away from the tree of life, guarding the entrance with cherubim and a flaming sword. The gates of paradise closed behind them. Adam and Eve stood on the edge of a new, harsh world, the weight of their choice settling upon them like a shroud. They were exiles, forever longing for the home they had lost. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with hardship and pain. But even in this moment of deepest despair, a flicker of hope remained. Amidst the sorrow, God had made a promise. He had spoken of a future, of a descendant of Eve, the seed of the woman, who would one day crush the head of the serpent. This was a first whisper of redemption, a promise that their fall was not the end of the story, but the beginning of humanity's long, arduous journey, from innocence lost toward grace found. A journey back to the heart of God. Thank you so much for watching. This story is a powerful reminder of love, loss, and the enduring promise of hope. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories that explore the depths of faith. We'll see you next time.